Hey everyone, welcome back.
Yeah, great to be here.
Today we're diving into the world of John Locke.
Ah, John Locke.
This guy, a total heavyweight in political thought.
For sure.
And for anyone aiming for that UPSC exam.
Oh, especially with international relations as an option.
Yeah.
You know what, John Locke, he's like essential reading.
I mean, his ideas, they're everywhere in international relations.
Oh, absolutely. Human rights,
Right.
the structure of nation states, you name it.
It's all, like, built on Locke.
He's not just a historical figure.
Right.
He's the key to understanding the world today, I'd say.
So, who was this John Locke?
Yeah.
Beyond the, philosopher label, his life, I mean, it's anything but boring.
Right. He wasn't just an academic, this guy.
Okay.
A medical researcher.
Uh-huh.
A political advisor.
Wow.
And he lived through some crazy times, let me tell you.
Yeah, I was reading about that, like, Civil War,
Civil War, yeah.
assassination plots.
Oh, all of it.
The whole shebang.
You name it, he probably saw it.
Talk about real-world experience shaping your thoughts.
Oh, for sure.
And wasn't he close with, wasn't Lord Shaftesbury?
Yeah, that's right. Lord Shaftesbury, big-time politician.
Yeah.
That connection, it gave Locke a front-row seat to power, you know?
I bet.
And how much a nation's success depends on a booming economy.
Uh-huh.
So it's not really a surprise that he became a huge advocate for tolerance. Religious tolerance,
Yeah.
freedom of the press.
Wow. Pretty radical ideas back then.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So how did all this, this life experience translate into the ideas that made John Locke, John Locke?
Okay, well, here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Locke, you see, he's often called the father of liberalism.
The father of liberalism.
He championed this idea, right, that we have these inherent rights as individuals,
Okay.
that government, it should be limited,
Uh-huh.
and that there's this concept of a social contract.
Yeah, I remember the social contract from political science class. It's about citizens agreeing to be governed.
Right.
In exchange for protection.
Exactly.
Protection of their rights.
Right. But here's the thing.
Okay.
It's not just about agreeing. It's a challenge to the old ways of power.
Okay, so before Locke, power was like, what, top-down?
Yeah, top-down, divine, God-given.
Ah, okay.
And Locke flips that. He says, no. Power comes from the people.
Oh, wow.
And if the government doesn't hold up its end of the bargain,
Yeah.
the people, they have the right to challenge it, even overthrow it.
That's huge.
Think Declaration of Independence,
Right.
French Revolution.
Yeah.
Locke's fingerprints are all over those events.
Whoa, that is a serious impact.
It is.
Ideas from centuries ago.
Yeah.
No wonder this is. Like UPSC gold.
Oh, absolutely. And for anyone listening, getting ready for that exam, Locke's impact on democracy,
Yeah.
on constitutionalism, it's worldwide.
Wow.
That's a potential essay question right there.
Oh, good point. Good point. Okay, I also read that Locke's work, it's been interpreted in so many ways.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
By different scholars.
Absolutely.
Is that something UPSC folks need to know?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like, take the debate on whether he was more collectivist or individualist.
Okay.
So collectivist, emphasizing community rights.
Okay.
Or individualist, focusing on individual liberty.
Right.
You've got scholars like Lasslett who say Locke was all about the community, and others like McPherson, who see Locke as kind of justifying inequality with his emphasis on property rights.
Oh, wow. That's a different take.
Right. And then you've got Ashcraft, who highlights Locke's radicalism.
Oh.
Saying his writing, it was like coded.
Coded.
Yeah, he was trying to connect with other revolutionaries, without getting in trouble with the authorities.
Sneaky.
Right.
So was he a reformer, a revolutionary?
It's a tough question.
There's no easy answer.
No, not really.
And I guess that's what makes it so interesting for UPSC.
Absolutely. Understanding these different interpretations, it's key.
Yeah.
It helps you analyze events, ideologies from different points of view.
Yeah.
It shows you can think deeply, which is what those examiners are looking for.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It's wild, right? Locke's influence, it wasn't just politics.
Oh, right.
Like his ideas on labor and property.
Uh-huh.
They influenced those early economists.
Okay.
Like Adam Smith.
Right, the free market guy.
But get this.
Yeah.
They also influenced Karl Marx.
Whoa, wait, Marx?
Yeah.
Like the father of communism, Marx?
The one and only.
That's a crazy connection.
It is, isn't it? It shows you how much Locke's thinking, how far it reached, sparked debates in all sorts of areas.
So we've got, like, Locke the revolutionary,
Yeah.
Locke the economic influencer, and now what, Locke the feminist?
Well, proto-feminist, maybe.
Proto-feminist, okay.
But yeah, his ideas, they resonated with some early feminist thinkers.
Like, who are we talking about here?
Mary Estelle.
Okay.
Mary Wollstonecraft.
Got it.
Remember, Locke was all about reason.
Right.
He rejected those old patriarchal norms.
Okay.
And believed that that how you're raised, your environment, it shapes you more than just your biology.
Nurture over nature.
Exactly.
So how did those ideas influence the feminists?
Well, they used those ideas to argue for equal rights for women.
Okay.
Access to education.
Right, right. So to really understand Locke, like his core arguments, we're going to go to the source, right?
Absolutely.
The two treatises of government.
Required reading for anyone who's serious about political philosophy.
Okay.
And for that UPSC exam, you got to know those arguments inside and out.
All right, so let's talk two treatises.
Okay.
Didn't you mention there was some controversy around this book?
Oh, yeah, tons of it. Remember, Locke was living in exile at the time.
Right, right.
Fearing for his life.
Yeah, because of his radical ideas.
Exactly. The two treatises, they were published anonymously right after the Glorious Revolution.
Oh, wow.
Huge political upheaval in England.
So this book, it's like born out of revolution.
You could say that.
Maybe even shaped history.
It's possible.
Talk about pressure.
Right. And in those treatises, Locke lays out his arguments.
Okay.
For limited monarchy, individual rights,
okay,
and the people's right to hold their government accountable.
Sounds like the blueprint for, well, modern democracy.
It does, doesn't it?
But for, you know, our UPSC folks out there.
Yeah.
What are the core arguments, the ones they need to know?
Okay, so first, Locke, he dismantles this whole idea of the divine right of kings.
Which was, like, huge back then.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay.
He argues that authority, political authority, it comes from the consent of the governed.
Okay.
Not from God.
So not top down.
Nope.
It comes from the people.
That's right. And from that, he builds his idea of limited government.
Okay. One that protects those individual rights.
Okay. Yeah.
And is accountable to the people. He argues for a separation of powers.
Like, you know, the branches of government.
Exactly. Yeah. Legislative, executive, judicial.
Right. So no one branch gets too powerful.
Exactly. Checks and balances.
The rule of law.
All rooted in Locke's ideas.
Wow.
Then there's his focus on individual rights, especially property rights.
Property rights, right.
He saw them as key to freedom.
Oh, okay.
A safeguard against tyranny.
Yeah, because back then, a king could just take your stuff.
Exactly.
So like that.
So for our UPSC listeners,
yeah,
from the two treatises,
yeah,
here's what you need to remember.
Okay.
Consent of the governed.
Got it.
Limited government.
Okay.
Separation of powers. Individual rights.
Right.
Especially those property rights.
Yeah.
And the right to revolution.
If the government goes too far.
Exactly. These are the Lockean principles that shaped, well, everything. Modern political thought.
Yeah.
And they're still shaping international relations today.
Oh, for sure.
So it's not just about, you know, memorizing facts.
No, no, no.
It's about understanding these ideas and how they connect to, well, everything.
Exactly. And that's where it gets interesting for the international relations paper, you know?
Okay.
Think about how those ideas about natural rights, the social contract, they shaped international law.
Wow.
Or Locke's state of nature.
Where everyone's free and equal.
Yeah, that influenced debates about the rights of states, the limits of their power.
So Locke's ideas, they went global.
They did.
Not just about individual countries.
No.
It's about how they interact with each other.
On the world stage.
Right. That'll be useful for those international relations case studies.
Absolutely. And don't forget the debate about whether Locke was being strategic with the two treatises.
Oh, right. The coded language thing.
Right. Exactly. Some scholars, like Afcraft, they point to his specific word choices.
Okay.
Suggesting he was appealing to other radicals.
Without getting caught, right.
Exactly. Like he was playing this high-stakes game.
Yeah.
Trying to get his ideas out there without getting in trouble.
So that argument, the coded language thing, how does that change our understanding of Locke?
Well, it makes you wonder about his true intentions.
Okay.
Who he was really writing for.
Yeah.
Was he a hardcore revolutionary?
Okay.
Or more of a reformer trying to make things better from within?
Interesting.
These nuances, they can really make your UPSC essays stand out.
Okay.
show a deeper understanding of Locke.
Right. So it's not just what he said.
No.
It's the when and the why and the who he was talking to.
Exactly. Like being a historical detective.
Yeah, I like that.
And for UPSC, that ability to analyze, to understand context, it's super valuable.
So we've talked about Locke the revolutionary, the economist,
Uh-huh.
the proto-feminist.
Yeah.
We've decoded the two treatises.
We did.
But for our listeners, why should they care about John Locke?
That's the big question.
Like, what's the takeaway for them?
Well, it's simple. Locke, he's the foundation for so much of what we study in international relations.
Okay.
Understanding him, it's not just about the exam.
Right.
It's about understanding the world.
So seeing the connections.
Exactly.
How his ideas connect to what's happening today.
Yes. To conflicts, global institutions,
right.
Locke's ideas, natural rights, the social contract, limits on government, they're constantly debated in international relations.
So like when we talk about human rights violations or protecting people in war zones.
Absolutely.
Or even like the power of international organizations.
It all goes back to Locke.
Wow.
And for UPSC, being able to connect those dots, the historical and philosophical stuff, to today's issues. Yeah.
That's crucial.
So not just what he said.
No.
But how his ideas are still shaping things.
Exactly.
All right, listeners, if you're serious about that international relations paper,
you got to dive deeper into Locke.
I think we've convinced them.
I hope so. You'll be amazed at how relevant his ideas still are.
Right, and we've got some readings for you.
In the show notes.
Check those out. All right, so we've covered a ton about John Locke.
We have.
From, his crazy life to his big ideas and how they impacted, well, everything.
It's true.
But for our listeners out there, the ones, deep in that UPSC prep mode.
Right.
What are the absolute must-knows about Locke?
The cheat sheet.
Yeah, the things they should be highlighting.
Okay, so future diplomats, here's your Locke cheat sheet.
Okay.
He was a man of many talents.
I mean, we saw that.
Right. Medical researcher, political advisor, revolutionary thinker.
It's a lot to fit on one resume.
And he's known as the father of liberalism, advocating for those individual rights, limited government, and, of course, that all-important social contract.
Can't forget that.
And his two treatises of government.
Yeah.
That basically laid the foundation for modern democracy. And
it's still relevant today.
Absolutely. I mean, they're shaping international relations as we speak.
So his ideas, they weren't just some, passing fad.
No.
They're still shaping things centuries later.
For sure. And remember those different interpretations of his work?
Yeah.
Was he about the collective good?
Okay.
Or individual freedom?
A reformer.
A
revolutionary.
For UPSC, you got to understand those debates. Analyze those ideas from different angles.
Makes sense. So hit the books, do the research.
Yeah.
And form your own conclusions.
That's what makes a strong UPSC candidate.
Right. That critical thinking.
Yes. Grappling with those big ideas.
And to wrap things up,
a
final thought for everyone.
We've talked about how Locke's ideas, shaped the world as we know it.
We have.
But what about the future?
Good question.
Liberalism, it's facing challenges, right?
It is.
How will that shape global politics? Can Locke's ideas help us, navigate these issues?
Big questions.
Yeah, definitely something to think about, especially for those on the UPSC journey.
It might even spark a winning essay idea.
Oh, there you go.
Right. The more you engage with these ideas, the more prepared you'll be for the exam and for, understanding the world.
Shaping the world.
Exactly.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, there you have it.
That's our deep dive into John Locke.
Thanks for joining us.
If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button.
And give us a like.
It really helps people find the show.
It does.
And to everyone prepping for the UPSC, best of luck.
You got this.
Keep those brains buzzing.
Keep learning.
And we'll catch you on the next episode.